I mean, look, I think that Pete watches Friends on like Netflix. Your wife enjoys the show Friends, Pete. Is that true?
She watches every night.
Okay.
Literally.
So, you know, the trifle episode, like when Joey's eating the trifle where Rachel messes it up and puts like meat in the dessert. And he's like, I don't know, you know, whipped cream, good. Right? That's how I'm looking at this Panthers team. Greg Olsen, good. DJ Moore, good. CJ McCaffrey, good. Cam Newton, good. Give me all the Panthers here. All right?
Yeah. Any love for Baker Mayfield in tournaments is a really low-owned guy. I mean, we have great quarterbacks on the slate. I think it's probably too cute for me, but any love there for either of you guys?
It's not too cute for tournaments. Probably too cute for cash.
Oh, way too cute for cash.
But it's not too cute for tournaments.
Yeah. Could be some garbage time, depending on how this game goes, and obviously Kansas City.
Smile on Adam. I think Adam doesn't think it's too cute for cash.
Oh no, it's way. This is like we spent like 3 minutes on Duke Johnson last week, you guys, and then he
gets hurt like, first play.
He got hurt. You
on a nice
fault us for players getting injured.
What?
15-yard catch he had that he got hurt on. We can't all run pure like you and just swap in Sammy Watkins and just, you know, run to the bank.
He didn't run pure last week.
I know. Smith
he didn't run pure last week. Todd Gurley
I had a worse team
down
than Smith. Yeah.
to give me the winner.
Yeah, congrats. I should have mentioned that at the top. Congrats to Smiz on the 4-man week. Hopefully I can catch up with Smiz this week.
Adam robbed me. I had another second place finish, and Adam robbed me with Gurley falling down.
Pete, I mean, I don't want to embarrass you, but not only have you struggled in the 4-man, I think you've been dead last by like 40 plus points in like 4 separate weeks.
That preface is the worst preface of all time. That's like, no offense. Anytime you start a statement with no offense, you're going to say something that's really freaking offenseful to the next person. You know, I don't want to embarrass you, but let me embarrass the hell out of you for a second.
I mean, the listeners, if they were going head to head with Pete, would be like 6-1, 7-1.
That's definitely not true. But I'm done. I'm going back to my original strategy, putting the cash game too. I'm done putting the stupid leagues team that just wrecks all the time.
Right? This is where we look for upside, right? So knowing that both him and Galladay should see an increase in terms of their floor of targets, right? They're going to see more looks every single week. They're not going to pick up all of Tate's targets, but they should each pick up 1 or 2 more per game. Knowing that when they get anywhere within range of the end zone, whether it's in the red zone or just outside, Matthew Stafford feels most comfortable throwing the ball in the end zone to Marvin Jones Jr. I think that Marvin Jones Jr. is the better play this week, even though I felt that Galladay was the better play last week, and Marvin Jones Jr. is one who had the big day, and that's why I kind of feel like I'm the one playing whack-a-mole this week, but I don't think I am. I feel it's more process-oriented than game log watching oriented. Now, Graham Barfield also put up the stats on Kerryon Johnson. I don't know. Is Graham a friend of the podcast, Adam?
Yeah, he's been on the podcast, I think, twice.
There you go. Friend of the podcast, Graham Barfield from NFL Network. Posted Kerryon Johnson splits with Theo Riddick, weeks 1 through 5, 40% snap rate, 13 opportunities, 12.2 routes run per game. Without Theo Riddick, the last 2 weeks, 70% snap rate, 21 opportunities, and 17 routes run per game. If Theo Riddick is still out this week, Kerryon Johnson should be on again this week. Look, I think that you need 225 to 250 points to win the Millie Maker. That's what it takes most weeks, unless you have something like week 1 where everybody's underpriced and all those guys that were underpriced go for like 40 points and then you need like 300 points. Typically speaking, I'm shooting to try and get a lineup that gets me between 225 and 250 to give me a shot. Now, it doesn't always depend, to me, on what the 3-point whatever K guy does. It depends on what that guy allows me to afford. So if Cortland Sutton has 13 fantasy points this week, but he allows me to afford 3 other cats who score 30 fantasy points this week, it's going to be necessary to have those guys on your roster to win the Millie Maker, where if Cortland Sutton goes for 12, 15, if he goes for 30, you're going to have him.
Oh,
right?
well, obviously. Yeah. I mean,
if he
he's gonna
goes
be
for
so
15, if he goes to 12 to 15, you could have him and still win the Millie Maker. So I think that people that are fading him, thinking that like, well, if he only gets me 11 to 14 points, I can't win the Millie Maker. I think that's a false statement. I won the Millie Maker with 15 fantasy points from David freaking Johnson, who was not 3.9K.
Hashtag
Jerry remains unimpressed behind Adam.
Let's not be stupid.
15
here.
fantasy points does not mean you cannot win the Millie Maker, is the point that I'm making here.
No.
Third and longs possible, which means that Cortland Sutton and Emmanuel Sanders might see more value. Now, if you want a leverage play, it's Manny Sanders.
Yeah, hashtag team sex. Yeah, of course. I'll tell you what the real answer is. You play both of them and you freaking ride to the bank. I'm going to come for you guys this week after Adam publicly embarrassed me on the podcast. I'm going to screw it. I'm just going to have the full-on Broncos onslaught here to try to win the 4-man. Sutton, Sanders, and the best night of my life. That's what I'm going
Yeah, and I think Broncos D is going to be extremely popular too, and with good reason. Well, one of the biggest mismatches on the slate, I think, is Denver's defensive line versus the Texans' offensive line.
Yeah, look at Jerry right now. She's loving this.
Jerry's on team sex. The guys at Draftkings are not going to like this, but Jerry's on team sex. Guys, and I doubt I'll be able to pull the trigger because certainly Traquan's floor is lower. They have been so locked on to Michael Thomas, Kamara, Ingram, and really kind of a tight tree, but I just think Traquan, maybe I'm biased by hashtag team preseason, but I think it's the spot for Traquan.
Why not play
No
both?
offense, Adam, but imagine not playing the Monday night game where Traquan Smith scores 2 touchdowns and literally leaving $100K on the table. Imagine not playing that. Imagine just letting Pete win all the tournaments on that one.
Like Al, if you can't win $1 million on a slate, I don't even play it. So, I mean, that's why
What do you mean? You can win first place and split it with 180 of your best friends.
Imagine not playing that slate.
I can play the showdown.
Literally my best slate all year. Imagine not playing it.
The Traquan Redskins slate was your best slate all year, right?
No, it was the nuts.
Yeah.
I can still, Amari Cooper's come through, like you referenced, with no offense that I keep getting smashed in the format. I can still put food on the table because of that slate. Imagine being such a fan of Traquan that you just like, no, I'm not going to play it. Traquan Smith captain night.
Yeah.
Their defense is going to shut down an opponent like they shut down San Francisco, then you don't play Goff. If you have an opponent like New Orleans, in New Orleans, with all the talent they have that matches up well against the Rams defense, then you play Goff. That's my...
It's a 1-point spread. It's perfect.
It's a 1-point spread.
It's literally
it
a
could
dream
be
spot.
33-30 and just eke over the total.
It's a dream spot. I hope what I really hope happens now, the more I think about it, I was pressing the lock button on Kelsey. I still love Kelsey, but it would be better if somehow Diggs missed, and then you can play Rudolph and Sutton, and then you can just jam in all the dudes.
You could theoretically make a lineup with Goff, Gurley, Kamara, Kupp, Thomas, Traquan, and just pick 2 other players from 2 other teams in the defense. You could fit that. That could happen because Kamara is $1,200 too cheap and Gurley is $1,000 too cheap and Goff is still $6K. You can fit them because they're mispriced. And Thomas is $7,600.
And Traquan is $5K too cheap.
Yeah, I agree with that. Here's the thing. Here's the other really big benefit that you can have with this game. All morning, it can just be a straight tilt fest, right? Like things can just be going badly. Your teams are going.
You got like 400 PMR remaining.
When you have the bullet in the chamber, there's still always hope.
The bullet? You got a Gatling gun. That's not a bullet. You've got an entire clip waiting to go in the afternoon.
Yeah. So for the listeners
and
out there,
it's the 20-minute hammer. It's the 20-minute hammer too. It starts at 4:25 Eastern time. You get the extra PMR versus the people that have players in Denver and players in Seattle and the Chargers. You get the 20-minute hammer with this game too. It's ridiculous.
I'm going to be sitting there with Sutton in this game, and I'm just going to be counting my money all day long until something really bad happens. But it's going to be great.
Sutton's an afternoon game, too. You're going to have all those teams on the left side of your DraftKings app just waiting with that full green circle ready to go.
Full green circle. It's nice. I like it. All right. We spent enough time on this game. If you want to be contrarian, fade it. If you want to be smart. Look at the game. These are all great plays. I want to play Cup. I want to play Woods. I want to play Cooks. I want to play
so we'll
say it, Pete. Say it, Pete.
Yeah, Pete, say it.
Say
I
it.
want to play all the dudes.
Yeah!
This is the great. Like, if anyone comes after me for saying play all the dudes in a game that has a total of 60 flipping points, like this is the like you could literally make your team just like, okay, how can I fit in as many guys from this game as possible? Like, just start your team. Just literally pick only players from this game. Throw in Cortland Sutton and just back up the truck. Like, go out to a steakhouse tonight. Whatever you're listening to, like, this is the easiest way to print money that I've ever seen.
No one's going to do that. No one is going to stack this game and play Cortland Sutton.
Nobody's stacking this game with a total of 60. Nobody's doing that.
And they're not going to play Cortland Sutton.
You're the only one. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You can win first place. You can win $1 million and split it with 180 of your friends.
No, I mean, we're all going to be rich.
me
Everyone,
ask you
no
this.
one's going to lose. Yeah, this is the greatest spot ever. I mean, I'm going to make like just full blown onslaughts. Like a team with Breeze, Kamara, Traquan Smith, Michael Thomas, that could win it all. Bring it back with some of the guys like Todd Gurley and whatever. Like, there's value on this slate. You could also do like a Goff Gurley Cup team. Like, all the dudes are in play here.
Yeah.
Like every single guy is a good play in this game.